Everything about this listing is disgusting. It is not a studio or an apartment, but a rooming halfway house for homeless individuals who wish to smoke crack cocaine.
Oh my God.
This is absolutely the truth. My next door neighbor was smoking crack cocaine.
Oh my God. What's up, guys? Welcome to Once Upon A BNB, where we share your craziest, wildest, funniest vacation rental and vacation stories. This is Maha F. Baby.
I'm Annsleigh.
This is Ian.
All right. Today, Ian is going to tell us about breaking the law.
Damn.
Maybe not the law quite,
Well,
right? What's your sus situation you got for us today?
I requested we recorded this back to back, and I requested we recorded this one second because hopefully by the time it airs, I'll have closed on my house.
Woo!
Thank you. But because I didn't actually own the house, I bought it through this rent-to-own company called Divvy, and up until I guess by the time this airs, I didn't want them to know that's the Airbnb.
That you were breaking the law. Do y'all remember that from Beavis and Butthead, or no?
It's actually, it's from
I know it's an actual song, but does it not remind you of Beavis and Butthead every time you hear it? Or is that just me? Okay, anyways.
TV record. Yeah. No, I
actually bought this guy I dated the Beavis and Butthead DVD set. And I was like thinking it wasn't going to be as funny as it was like when we were kids and we were like, oh, they're saying cuss words, haha, it's bad. But it's fucking hilarious.
I'm a good
Beavis and Butthead is really funny.
DVD set buyer. For
really?
People I'm dating.
Yeah, I used to, but I don't even own a DVD. Who has something to play?
They'd be like,
right.
When I was in high school, it was this guy. Yeah, it was a guy I dated. I bought him like all the Michael Jordan. It's like it came with all the games, like the best games.
Yeah.
We were still on VHS when I was in high school. I don't think DVDs were really around. I actually remember the R. Kelly sex tape, not even sex tape, rape tape, because it was a 15-year-old. Yeah, the whole school was like passing around a VHS of it.
And taking it home and watching it and bringing it back to school.
Yeah, and like passing it around.
Like
and
checking out the library.
Spoiler alert, he definitely did it. It was for sure R. Kelly, but anyways, neither here nor there. But yeah, VHS for me in high school.
Series on Lifetime.
Me too. Yeah. Very convincing.
Yeah. It was.
Also, I saw the video with my own eyes. So.
That was also convincing.
And I'm also now a lawyer, so I can pretty much say.
But at the time, I was also 15, so, it didn't really seem as crazy to me because I thought I was grown, even though I wasn't at all. But wow, that went completely off topic.
Well, all right, I think that far. Yeah.
We talked about legality.
All I did was arguably violate the provisions of the lease.
By Airbnb?
By Airbnb it out. And so, but, where I was at.
What a sus situation.
I was at Fort Fiesta, and then, was it episode 6?
No
60.
That's where counting them down. You already know.
Point is that when young bands allegedly robbed the house, and so I had to, move out.
If you haven't listened to that episode, listen to it.
Link below.
Swipe up. I don't think that's a thing. But anyways.
And then I was buying a house, and then it was in the middle of the pandemic, so a great time to buy a house if you can afford it. And then, but I got fucked by my student loans. It took like a while to sort out, and it was right when like my little brother got COVID. So it was super scary because we thought we gave it, we were all sharing a house. I was supposed to live in, my parents' house until I, moved into the new house I was getting ready to move into abruptly because of the Fort Fiesta shootout.
Oh, yeah.
And, but anyways, so after the COVID scare, we're like, oh, I definitely, because I'm starting to have to work again, so I'm like, I can't be in the same household as my parents when I'm working. Because my dad, he checks every, immunocompromised box there is. But he made it through the other side. He's double vaxxed. Yeah, we're good.
Vaxxed and waxed. Well,
oh yeah,
he vaxxed that ass up.
I saw him at the pool on 4th of July.
Juvenile made a vax that ass up, and it's actually him, redid the whole video, and it's about getting vaccinated.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Girl, you look good when you vax that ass up.
Yeah.
What is he playing with?
What is he playing with? Don't play with Ian. Okay, continue.
No, but I under contracted on a house in Pittsburgh. I just wanted to be near the West Side Beltline.
Yeah.
And then it falls through, and student loans are like, "Fuck you, you're not having the house." And so I did, like it was last second, and then thank God for this company, Divvy. And they're I forget where they're based at, probably San Francisco, but Atlanta is one of the first markets that they're in. And so what they do is they buy the home outright in cash. They give you like a range.
I've been getting Instagram ads for that for some reason.
This is them.
I thought Divvy sounded familiar when you said that, but
it's not Divvy.com. That's taken by something completely different. It's like DivvyHomes.com.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, no, I've been seeing the ads because like right now the market is so crazy that you get beat out by a cash offer every time. So they basically buy it in cash for you. Which theoretically, isn't that what a mortgage company is doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever. That was,
But so they give you like a range based on stuff, and then you have to pay like a small down payment. It's not that much in like relative, percent wise. And then so they had the house was listed at $245, and I was like, they set you with a realtor you have to use and a home inspector you have to use, and the realtor.
They're definitely like everything all in one. They make you use all their own shit, as we learned, But
they made, yeah. So Maha is currently helping me with the closing, and I was trying to I was like, all right, well, I don't know anything about this. Like, use Maha, and like they want to make you use their own title company.
Their own everything.
That's on the back end when you sell it. But when you're buying it, or when they're buying it in the beginning. So, but anyways, they make I was like, no, put it at $230, and so that they accepted it. It ended up being like $230 and change with.
That's good for Pittsburgh. Like, Pittsburgh is hot right now.
This was in Venetian Hills, where I ended up buying.
That's right. You are.
I just want to be in that area. But so that locks in the price that you buy it from them at. Yeah. So it's when Divvy first started, it was every year was a different one, and that would have been my goal to do the lowest, but they changed it to 18 months. And so, but it got locked in at $239, $738. And the market's, shooting up already. And so, it's, you're already getting equity there. And then also, I've done a bunch of shit to it for the Airbnb.
Yeah.
I was living it. So anyways,
it.
That's, so now I'm buying it from them. And so now I can finally stop, operating another illegal Airbnb. Allegedly, arguably.
Yeah.
Because, the lease, let me pull it up. It says stuff like, this may not.
It's pretty clear from what I looked at.
I don't know. Let me see. Like
the only thing missing was the words Airbnb or like vacation rental, but it's heavily implied that's what they mean.
Well, it said like no borders or room. That's pretty.
Yeah.
Because
and you can only use it as a residence and like not. And it, like your residence, not just a residence.
What I usually argue, like when I did my first one in Camden, was that they're not a subletter.
Yeah.
So I still make that argument. They're just, a guest.
Yeah, and you are using it as a residence, and you're just a person that lets people stay in your house.
Yeah.
If they want to give you some money for it.
Well, I don't know about you, but when I stay at someone's house, I, buy them a bottle of wine and,
there's an
I
exchange.
treat them. Yeah. So I expect my guests to do the same fucking thing up front with cash,
Yeah.
through my Airbnb account.
I'm glad you had a good experience with Divvy. That's cool.
Have you heard of them too?
Mm-hmm.
Have you used them? Like, know anybody that's used them?
I haven't heard anybody use them, but it's definitely a smart concept.
So is it always like a rent to own situation, or can they just buy the home for you and you automatically buy it from them, or what?
And your rent each month is, mine was $24.10, and $540 of that each month was set aside as equity.
Your down payment, or
for your down payment.
That's
and
cool.
So they let you treat it however you want. So you had mine was like $46.71, $4,600 down. And then plus the 540 much, now it's like 11,000 and change now. So they let you apply. That's almost 5%. So that's so they freeze up your money to close.
So where are they making that?
That's so cool.
Money?
They make their squeeze on the I guess on rent,
and
then,
I guess
and on the
all the people you have to use within them.
Yeah, probably that. No, that's just shaving their costs.
And they're probably like using the money that they're getting from all the rent and like earning interest on it and doing other things.
Interest from and then because they basically loaning the money.
So is like, okay, you said a certain amount was set, we're getting off the Airbnb topic, but you said a certain amount was like set aside for the down payment. Is that like the full payment minus that set aside part? Is that what your mortgage payment would be once it's a mortgage payment and not rent?
No, so they just
they making a profit on that?
You get your own, once you have a mortgage lender, they,
Oh, they're not the lender when you buy it from them.
Exactly. So you just send them your.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah,
So they buy the house for you, rent it to you. They buy it in cash,
and they
rent it
set
to
aside $540 of your rent each, or whatever
whatever
it
the
is,
amount
but
is
a percentage
for your
so
down payment.
what
So they
that's-
act
So
like
they
your savings
own it.
account, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Okay,
and so
okay,
that
okay.
they're trying to sell themselves as like really beneficial to people buying a home that they,
Yeah.
for whatever reason, like that's you time to rebuild your credit
Oh,
or
cool.
whatever.
Yeah.
And also, like if you compare what you're getting, like if like obviously like my new mortgage is still cheaper than their rent payment was. But
Yeah.
if you look at any amortization schedule,
Yeah.
in the beginning of it, you're getting no equity at all.
Yeah.
So you're actually way ahead of the game. Like I wouldn't have $11,000, or I guess 10,000 and change, because 4 of it was from the down payment. But anyways,
Right.
I wouldn't have that saved up in equity in a year, in a normal mortgage.
Right.
So in some ways, especially given where the market it is, and like this is, and also I'm on the Beltline, so like that's obviously like a guarantee.
But so like since you still have to go get your own mortgage, like you said, you locked in the price. Let's say $240, right?
Yeah.
Let's say by the time you're buying the house, it's worth $300.
Yeah. Then it's
So do you get your mortgage for $300 and then you have that
get your
equity?
mortgage.
It's locked in.
But you could though, right?
No,
could you?
well, I
you
guess
could
if
do
you
a
wanted,
cash
like-
out and like pull
if
that equity
you
out.
want to do something funky, you could, I guess. But normally, like what I'm trying to do is hopefully between because right now they're finishing the fence right now, and then in my in the backyard patio, and then I also did the island and
Oh yeah, so
a
you've
couple other
already
little
like,
projects. It didn't have a fridge or washer dryer. Now it does have top of the line, those.
Did you get an appraisal for the new mortgage?
Well, no, that's what's happening now. I have to wait till the
yeah.
fence guy.
Upgrade.
So
okay.
that's going to be next week. But what I do,
Even if you got the mortgage for the lower amount that you like paid through for
well,
Divvy, you
ideally, if the I forget, I've done the math, I forget what it is, but if they evaluate it high enough, then I won't need mortgage insurance because I'll
Yeah, you'll
have
have more
20%
than
equity
20%
already.
equity.
Yeah.
Or, if you get it for that lower price and it's worth like a ton more, you can get a home equity line of credit on it, or
Yeah.
you can like later do a cash out refinance and like pull some out.
That's my last question. We're gonna move on.
We didn't even talk about the Airbnb
We didn't
part
talk
of it.
about the
Like,
Airbnb
literally,
part.
this
Part.
is very informative.
Why could they just use the appraisal that they did before you did the upgrades?
Well, because that was the appraisal they did for the purchase of the between whoever owned the house beforehand.
And then
now.
you have to do it for your
And now
appraisal.
the mortgage company's got their appraisal coming out.
You want the value of the house to be much higher than what you're paying for it, because then you're walking in with equity. So he wants
I'm
it to
thinking
appraise
he
as
could
high as
get-
possible,
Yeah.
and then
wouldn't
he's
he-
getting the loan for just the purchase price of like $240.
Okay.
I'm gonna have the maid come over the day
Right.
of, and I have guests right now.
Nice.
My-
Because you would have already have purchased it when the appraiser comes.
Well, normally you would only have it once, or I guess you do if you're refining right now.
That's part of
Okay.
him purchasing it is the appraisal, because the lender has to make sure that the
See, that's
house
what I'm
is worth
confused
what they're
about.
loaning to you.
I'm confused.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm confused about him buying it before the upgrade. I mean, before the upgrades and that price versus making all the upgrades and then
So
officially
he
being
technically
his.
he didn't buy it before the upgrades. Divvy bought it before the upgrades and promised to sell it to him for that
for
same
that
price.
same
No matter
price,
what
no
I
matter
did to
what.
it. Yeah.
Okay, that's the
And
thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
technically,
cool.
I think according to my lease, one of the parts I didn't violate is allegedly is that doing major improvements. Like I was like,
Mhm.
can I put a fence? And they said yes.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a
And
great
they did. I
option,
forgot to mention
actually.
they did a whole new roof for me, so I have a brand new roof. Divvy paid for it
Wow.
because they are like I argued that they should have caught it at the that their home inspector blew, and he did. But I
That's
get
good though.
yeah, it didn't work out on my benefit. When I got there, the home inspector is like, I was like, "How we doing?" And he's like, "Well, come with me." So we walk around the side of the house, and then he's like, "What's?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay. That it's been yanked out. There's no HVAC unit." I see. Okay, so it's been stolen. And
Oh my
so,
gosh.
Yeah, like it was.
Your HVAC got sold. This is when Divvy was buying it?
Yeah,
or?
when Divvy was buying the house, I'm like,
wow.
okay, well, I guess
That's very Venetian Hills.
Yeah, I was gonna chalk it up to it's a for sale sign, basically a hey no one's home sign.
Yeah.
And so you can see
basically.
the truck, the tire marks, or someone just backed the truck up,
Yeah.
pulled up the
sold HVAC.
shittily cemented gate, and took off with the HVAC unit. So that
That's right.
happens, and then I'm like having to set up security and shit, and I call them like, listen. This is what I give them the backstory about the HVAC unit, and I'm like, all right, so mail it to my parents' house, and then they didn't listen to me.
Oh
It
my
goes to
God.
there, and
It
it
got
gets
stolen
predictably
again.
stolen.
Stolen again?
Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
Yes,
Dude.
Oh my.
Wow. But yeah, when you first, when you sent me the contract for closing and stuff and said you were doing like a lease to own thing, I was like, damn, Ian, because usually those are terrible deals. It's like they're putting your money aside for closing instead of you putting your money aside for closing, but usually they're like overcharging too for the mortgage.
I was surprised how cool. Like they also,
it's basically like you locked in a purchase price a year in advance.
And I had another 6 months.
Which is how lease to own is supposed to be.
That's what they try to market themselves as like the way it was supposed to be, like a non-predatory. We're trying to get people in homes kind of thing. So I thought it was pretty cool. And I'd seen initially the ads, and then when shit went down, I was like, oh, let me hit up this Divvy company.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
Cool.
I'm sorry your HVAC got stolen twice.
Just once.
Do you have a cage on it now or no?
I got it. Yeah. They had to come back in. Well, so then the home inspector, he has to obviously come back and inspect once the unit's been installed.
Yeah.
Then closing happens. And, even though it's technically Divvy's closing, it's still my closing.
Yeah.
We get there and I, turn on the AC and we're walking around.
So you go to the closing. You're still like a party
exactly. No, they have you a part of everything.
Okay.
And so, but yeah, I get there and then we're walking around. I'm so excited, new house. And then it's still hot as fucking here. Yeah. Yeah. And then I look out, look outside. Oh, the fucking unit's still gone. And so obviously that guy didn't do a good job inspecting when he didn't come back to even check the AC.
Oh my gosh.
And then I start out and I have a leak in the house, like pretty early on. I had like an Airbnb.
That's the good part about being a tenant versus an owner at that point.
Because when you first start,
you get a year to work out all the kinks in the house.
Exactly. You would never know that without living there. That was such a benefit. I had like an Airbnb guest cancel. And it was like a really long.
We need to get Davey to sponsor this shit. We were like talking them up.
They're gonna have to deal with the fact that
they might forgive you.
That they
might forgive you for violating the lease allegedly.
They actually contacted me. Yeah, they contacted me asking me to be in a commercial that they're gonna shoot at some point, for successful transitions.
Okay, you got to work the podcast into it. Be like, yes, but only if y'all sponsor my podcast.
All right, and then they're gonna listen to it. And they're like, oh
fuck, yeah,
cancel that lease. We want our $11,000 back.
Oh my God, you have to do the commercial.
Yeah, I already said I would. They're going to take a bunch of...
Here's what he's going to do the commercial.
They're going to send over a camera crew to take a bunch of pictures of it. And I was like, perfect for my Airbnb ad.
That I'm illegally running. That is so amazing.
Yeah, and I was going to once again, just like when the appraisal comes, I'm having my guests, send over a cleaning lady and stuff like that. Do the same thing for the, for the ad.
You already have the cleaning lady.
He's really cool, even though... we touched on this a couple episodes ago.
Is just the house going to be in the commercial, or you're going to be in the commercial?
I think I'm going to be in the commercial too, but I'm going to use the other stuff. Well, even if I'm in it, I'm your host,
Yeah. Right.
And this is the house.
Exactly. Let me show you around.
Yeah.
That was...
it's like MTV Cribs.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, we should do an MTV Cribs.
Have y'all watched MTV Cribs as an adult? Those houses were not that ballin', some of them.
They were pretty ballin', Maha.
No, first of all, rewatch these episodes. Lil Wayne and Birdman, A, they lived together. Why do y'all have roommates?
But B, there was multiple houses.
They had a white refrigerator, the side-by-side, cheap white refrigerators you have, in college. You know what I'm talking? First of all, it's not like when white appliances were cool. It's the cheap white appliances, not ballin'. And then they had a carpeted living room with, stairs going down to the middle with a hot tub in it. But hot tub and carpet?
That was just one of their houses.
No, I don't think so. That was their house, and they just lived together like roommates. It just was not that.
Was it Cat Stacks? She always called them Young Money roommates.
Yes. Oh, she did.
Yeah,
Cat Stacks. Wow.
I'm a huge Lil Wayne fan, so I was super offended by
Maha F baby.
They probably definitely didn't own it at all.
I know, right? It's just in some shit, Usher's house was just somebody's parents' house in Alpharetta.
I'm done.
It wasn't oh my God, 50 Cent's house is pretty ballin'.
Yeah.
But anyways, where was I? Why are we talking about cribs?
I wonder if that's on Airbnb.
That's right. In the commercial, you're going to be showing them around.
We could do a spoof. We could do an MTV Crib spoof.
You should. Of an Airbnb.
Of an Airbnb.
Write that down.
Written down. Okay. That was so much fun. It's time for a fun fact.
Fun facts.
Okay, so this is kind of corny what I'm about to say, but I just want to say it anyway. I was so scared to say it because it's so corny. But if you were a dolphin possibly living in your home, you could always keep one eye open and see if they're going to steal your HVAC. Okay, my fun facts.
What?
Do you get it? Do you get it? Dolphins sleep with one eye open.
They do?
At all times. Yes. Okay.
That was corny.
I know, but I want to say it so bad. I had to try it out. So dolphins sleep with one eye open at all times because they must be constantly on the lookout for predators. The marine mammals have developed a neat trick of maintaining partial consciousness even as part of their brain sleeps because everyone's always trying to attack them. So I thought that was cool.
I also sleep with one eye open.
Do you, Mom?
You know. If
I
you
guess
stay
your
ready,
money
you
back.
ain't got to get ready.
Wear your money back, Maha, and you have, gotta protect yourself.
Life, baby. Guys, but circling back real quick, an MTV Cribs spoof would be so funny if we went to like a Not That Ballin' Airbnb and we're like acting like it was ours and like
Red Man and Method Man.
Yeah, it's like the Red Man and Method Man one. Y'all need to go back and watch the Lil Wayne and Birdman one too. It's just like,
I feel like a lot of them are just running Airbnbs for like
100%.
Right?
That wasn't a thing back then, though. I don't know. Airbnbs. They were definitely renting some of these houses they pretended to own, but
definitely rent it.
Yeah,
for sure. It makes me okay.
All right, Ian. Shit you never knew. What you got for us?
Well,
it's also called travel tips and tricks, but it's such a tongue twister. I'm shortening it to shit you never knew. Say that 3 times fast. Travel tips and tricks.
Then you'll never get a tip or trick out of me.
You are crazy. You know that sounds like 50 Cent. Bitch, you never get $1 out of me.
Oh yes.
The PIMP song.
Motherfucking. All right. So my current guest, my summer long tenant, talked a little about this a couple weeks ago, but
the bug guy.
The bug guy.
Oh.
He's afraid of bugs.
I can't stand him.
Well, no, I like him. He's been really cool about it. I just called him today, and I was explaining that the appraisal situation.
I like because he's a long-term renter.
Yeah. And yeah, he's a young guy. He never seen a cockroach before.
Yeah. I was going to say, give him a recap for the ones that missed an episode for an
Did you see the P. Diddy post
reason.
where P. Diddy said he woke up and had roaches on his face, and that's why he made it?
What?
P. Diddy used to sleep. He said he used to sleep and had 12 roaches on his face, and that's when he knew he had to make it out of his living situation.
That's an exaggeration.
Exaggeration.
After 1 or 2 roaches, you would have woken up.
I thought my Airbnb guest said he'd never seen a cockroach before when he's from New Jersey.
Yeah.
50 Cent's from Queens.
Diddy might be from Brook or Harlem.
No. Where's
producers?
Harlem.
Okay. I knew the producers knew.
There you
Harlem.
Yeah.
But yeah, cockroaches.
Well, all right. So he saw barely any cockroaches.
Cockroaches? Are you one of those people?
And he just
he saw one cockroach and freaked out.
The recap. He tried to. I wake up. He's been complaining about bugs. He's seen a couple bugs, but I just
most of which were outside.
Yeah, he sent 10 pictures, and 3 of them were from the doorbell cam of bugs, resting on the doorbell cam. And so I was like, when I called him, and I smoothed things over. Before I did that, I called Airbnb to make sure I had my side of the story logged in case things went awry. Yeah. And so I was like, and if that doesn't show his, miscalculation on, his warped of what
perception
of what a bug
of how nature works,
right? Of how
what a bug problem is. And my issues are because I asked this to the Airbnb lady. I was like, if he said there's too much pollen,
exactly,
would he be able to cancel my listing
the guy in the last
without
episode
penalty?
It's too much sun.
You and said it's too much sun. I had to wear my sunglasses every day.
Fuck the Airbnb.
Yeah, fuck
that guy.
But I didn't. So I get why you wanted to say fuck that guy, but hear him out. But that's the point I made. I was like, pollen, and they're like, pollen is outside. But I was like, no, ma'am. In this scenario, you left the window open for a second. There is yellow inside. Just like if open the door,
such a lawyer response.
You can get the bugs will fly in, and I was like, what if you discover when you move down there you have these allergies and you didn't book an Airbnb with a garage, so you have to walk from your car to the front door, and you got bugs and or pollen,
and it's Georgia.
I bet if we searched hard enough, we would find a vacation rental review that complained about too much pollen.
Yeah, I'm sure. And they get a huge fuck that guy.
Right. Fuck that guy.
But I said the same. I was like, what if he cancel without penalty if he does not like the weather? It's like, it's a little hot in here. It's sticky. He's not used to the humidity here, and so she didn't have a lot to say to me that goes.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was no, answer me.
I get this
I was like, answer me, please. And she was.
How did I get this?
She was not having a good time for a while. I actually broke through to level 2, and I said, you can't do it. I'd never done it before, and on that call, I guess after those scenarios,
oh my gosh,
she was like,
all right. Code.
Yeah, she was like, all right, and I talked to someone. It didn't help. I mean, it wasn't necessary because I eventually threw things over.
A bunch of relatable hypotheticals. That's how you get to level 2.
Yeah, they maybe talk to someone from that department. And so then I called him, and then first I said to him was like, well, what's your plan, guy? Because Because I want to be like, all right, are you canceling my thing? You to go somewhere else in Atlanta? You're still going to have the roaches, right? And like,
Atlanta, you're probably going to have worse than roaches.
And I have, my place is professionally treated. And what I did is I fired the first one. I fired Terminex because they didn't respond to his cries about a roach in time, and got the Orkin man in there.
Orkin man
or Orkin woman.
And actually, the second one was an Orkin woman because so with Orkin it comes and then But the thing is, I found this out. The first time that I had my own house and had rented house, but roaches. Or I had pest control come. Like they're like, you call them. They agreed to come back within the month as many times as necessary if there's any problems. I'm like, perfect. And then they come, spray, and the next day I'm like, there's a bug.
Yep.
They call them. They're like, it takes a little bit, buddy. You need to wait
come out and die. Right?
Yeah, you got to wait like like 2 weeks. And so, anyways, I tried to explain that to him, and it was tough to do so. And but I was eventually I was like and I also can't give you a full refund. I just
cannot.
I was like, I booked you. You had this place booked off. Like he didn't just book it either. Like he booked it months back. Yeah, so I'm like,
prevented you from getting other.
Yeah, I was like, so I'll let you rebook. I'll credit you back as a rebook. And then I was like, or option C is that you give me like a X amount of time. I'm open to negotiations, but like in the future, so then you can check out then, and then we can rebook. And then he called me back and he was like, no, I'm just sticking around. The other thing I forgot to say is I went on Amazon, went ham, and bought like every device.
Yeah, that's what the segment's actually about. Shit you never knew.
Yeah, shit you never use for bugs.
Yeah, that's the shit you never know. We're getting to that. Almost. And so what he said, though, when I sent him the screenshots, and I was like, I got I got ultrasonic, they have ultrasonic things you can plug into the outlets. Got them ultrasonic pest repellers. There's a new 21 edition. I made sure to include that in the screenshot. And so I sent him all the different devices I'm sending his way.
Oh, because the sound.
That one, sonic? We'll get into the sound. I'll explain it. But I call him.
He's hitting him from all angles. Yeah. Sound, light,
I just bought like one of every
Terminator.
Yeah, all these different types of devices. I sent him, and he called me back and he was like, I can't, no one else is going to do that for me. And he's like, you're right. It's just going to be the same thing. We don't want to leave Georgia, so blah, blah, blah. Long story short.
Came to his senses.
In 2 episodes, long 2 episodes.
You have to send him these 2 episodes once he checks out.
Yeah, that's the other thing I've been thinking.
No, once he writes his review, and then.
Yeah. Because what I've been thinking is, like, should I start telling these motherfuckers, like, oh, by the way, I'm the host of an Airbnb podcast.
You did some crazy shit.
I will fucking expose you.
And our millions of listeners are going to hear about it.
all of our listeners are B&B Liebers.
Once Upon A Bieber.
Yes.
I've been told I'm a poor man's Justin Bieber, so.
I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see it.
But
not a poor man's Justin Bieber.
Especially back in high school, you were getting all the ladies.
Oh, we heard.
Baby.
You and your brother both.
Yeah.
All right. I have a girlfriend.
Pre-Shafi.
Yeah, pre-Shafi.
But so anyways, yeah. But I will say this. So he's like, all right, yeah. And I like hit him up and I was like, all right, these are coming the next. Oh, first I wanted to. There's another device. I can't believe that. We'll just get into it. I can't believe this exists. They sell a light that is also a zapper.
Like, why has that not always existed?
For your front.
That's amazing.
So I'm thinking my front porch. I'm also thinking, he told me, I haven't actually looked at my cameras yet because I don't really ever monitor. Like, to the guy who thought I was watching him, I never watch. Unless I get a call from the cops, I'm not watching the video.
Right.
It's just a deterrent.
Right.
But he.
But I might be.
He told me that he's like, oh, there's gonna be all these videos of us like freaking out, like running inside, and so.
Because his girlfriend is also like a bugaphobe, right?
Yeah,
never seen a bug in her life.
But do they have to clean them when they get zapped, or they just fall to the ground?
Well, I guess it depends on what type of fixture you have around your light, and that was my question to my guest. I was like, all right, well, so I asked him to go out there and take a picture, and so I could see if it would work. Because if it's completely contained, the bugs get in there, and obviously. So once he said yes, I was like, all right, that's gonna come to Tuesday. I'm like following up, like I can help you because he
probably felt like such a dick after this too, like when you're going above and beyond to get rid of the bug problem that was not really a problem.
Yeah, I felt like it was, I'm happy to have all the stops to get rid of bugs, even this to be Jersey proof.
Dude, the guy that thought of the bug zapper light, like,
cool,
so simple but genius. Like all the best inventions are the ones that are like, of course.
I literally pray every day for God to give me an invention.
Yeah, I want to see you on Shark Tank real bad.
Oh my. Please
I have ideas all the time.
Yeah, Maha has good ideas.
I do.
I don't want to say our favorite out loud because it will get stolen. But
by our millions.
But I follow up with him. I followed up with my guest when he after everything arrived and he like wasn't like immediately installing shit. Like, you had this big bug problem.
Right. Oh,
And then I called him today about the appraisal stuff, and I was like, and I guess let's follow up about the bugs,
right.
And he like, some of them are in the box still.
I told you I didn't like him.
Right.
I like him a lot.
This guy.
I think, but anyways, he's
is he young?
Yeah, he's young.
Mm-hmm. He's in college, right?
Well, all right. So like, he obviously hasn't screwed in the light bulbs yet.
If he knows how to.
Yeah, that's level 2. I'll teach him next. I'm going to be there this weekend to finish the patio. So
There you go.
But then there are also some things I bought. Like, they also sell, and this is what you asked about earlier. There's things that are kind of obvious, like just a bug trap, but they have cool ones that look, like have like
that look like a decoration.
Yeah, exactly. So I got him those, and then I got this one that's like the like area covered went from like 300 square feet to like 3 acres. So he's got that one.
3 acres?
Yeah, in case he wants to go outside. And then
in case he wants some fresh air and no bugs.
Wait, what is the one that goes 3 acres? Like, what type of?
It's called a Dynatrap. Oh, sorry, half acre.
3 acres is a lot.
Fine. I think they sell a 3 acre version or a multi-acre version. And I got
What's the mechanism behind that one? Is it sound?
It's just a standard zap the fuck out of them.
How could it zap them from half an acre away?
How do you spread it out? Oh, it just.
I don't know. I called him.
It attracts them from half an acre away?
Maybe when they come in the zone.
I called him to ask today.
Amazon description now.
I did a lot of research. How do you think I decided the Dynatrap? I compare reviews. But the Dynatrap,
so cool.
But the ultrasonic, this is the one because he's afraid of roaches, and all these traps, they're not catching roaches. These fly traps, these glorified fly traps. That's what those were. The Dynatrap, just a glorified fly trap. But the ultrasonic, it takes ultrasonic rays, obviously, and that's supposed to repel. And the rodents the pests it lists are rodents, which we don't have an issue with, but spiders and roaches, and those are what he's afraid of.
Both of those.
You're a great landlord.
I know.
I'm a landlord now.
I'm like, fuck that guy. Fuck that guy.
But yeah, that's some shit you didn't know.
That's some shit we didn't know.
That is some shit we didn't know.
If you're on Amazon looking up fly repellents or bug repellents.
Oh, God. And I'm traumatized now every time I go in the backyard and see a mosquito.
Yeah.
I'm like,
how's that going?
Not great. There's so many mosquitoes. I need to get it sprayed.
Wait, what? All right. One of the things I told him to shut. I was like, listen, man, I have this, and they sell this. It's just like a mosquito. It's like a no-fly zone, and there's just no mosquitoes in your yard. And it's
what is it? I need that.
They sell. It's like a monthly thing, and they come out and you should get it.
Spray.
Yeah, spray.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna spray. I thought it was a mechanism, like something you put out.
Zapper.
Yeah.
But you can definitely try the Dynatrap, and you can. And for the light bulbs on the entrance, because I can see him running in there now. All those bugs are,
Thanks for the playback, guys.
That's probably some Instagram content coming to you live.
We'll fix that in post.
Right.
Anns, you got a review for us?
Yes, they're quick, they're short, and of course, the rating is from 1 to 5. And
on ridiculousness, or okay,
yep. And so, number 1 being 5, most ridiculous. Basically, the review says, everything. I will not be back. Terrible experience. Friends of the host knocked at my door looking for drugs. Unbelievable.
Oh my gosh.
So I guess they rented from the weed man's house or whatever drug man.
Wow.
What if it was a previous guest?
Right. Who knows?
Who knows?
Or what if it was the wrong house and they meant to knock next door?
Yeah.
But I mean, they said a friend of the host, so they probably asked for the host by name.
Ooh, I did.
And came to the door and knocked. You got drugs? You got anything?
Right.
That's kind of scary.
Where do we at?
What do we at, fiends? Okay. Number 2. Oh yeah, what do we rate it?
420.
I mean, that's a reasonable. That is
4.2 out of 5.
That's a reasonable review, honestly. Like, that's a lot.
Well,
first of all,
if you're not into drugs,
some people call that an amenity.
Depends on your personal experience. Funny. Number 2, floors, walls, counters, microwave, and fridge were splattered with old food and dirt. The sink was clogged. There was no water available anywhere. The apartment smelled like smoke, even though it was non-smoking, and the towels and bathroom were definitely not clean.
Ew.
The drywall was eroding. Not even worth the $60 I spent.
It's like a 3-bedroom.
Right. What did you want for $60?
I love the ending. I love the ending.
Oh my gosh. I wonder if that one was in another country or if it was here.
I
hope
don't
that
know.
was $60 like total, including Airbnb fees. The
For
50%.
sure. It definitely was.
No cleaning fee.
That was a
We think they
$29.
separated out the Airbnb fees. That was for sure a total.
Yeah, that was like a $15 Airbnb with a $15 cleaning fee and
oh my
$15.
gosh.
Totally. They was like, ooh, no cleaning fee.
What if
Stay
it was
here.
$60 for the whole stay, like multiple nights?
What was the
Oh
cleaning
my
fee,
gosh.
lady? Actually, I was initially saying like, I'm not ridiculous, it's perfectly reasonable. That was what was going through my head the whole time.
Until they said the $60. Yeah, no.
That's French for
Yeah, that was ridiculous. I'm gonna give it a 4. They could have at least.
That's still pretty
had
bad.
some water available.
But I guess they said not even worth the $60. Or like, even though it's only $60, still not worth it. Maybe that's what they meant.
Like, are you complaining because, like, your
there's no water.
No water.
For $60, I would at least expect some water.
I just think you have less, license to complain when you're at a 2-star hotel.
That's true, but you would at least expect water, if nothing else.
True.
Water and
you should at least be
electricity.
able to go to another room if that happens.
I know. It should just
Probably
leave.
Right.
Okay, third and last one. Everything about this listing is disgusting. It is not a studio or an apartment, but a rooming halfway house for homeless individuals who wish to smoke crack cocaine.
Oh my God.
This is absolutely the truth. My next door neighbor was smoking crack cocaine.
Oh my God.
One crackhead does not make a residence a crack house.
Oh my God.
It is absolutely true. Okay.
That is so funny. Who's the genius that decided to list the halfway homeless shelter on Airbnb? Kind of smart.
Oh my gosh. This is absolutely the truth. Okay, that's so
I'm not exaggerating. They were literally smoking crack.
But why are they smoking crack at the halfway house? They must be getting off drugs.
Right.
Yeah,
I think they're confusing homeless shelter and halfway house, but
They're not even
And
supposed to have
also,
drugs.
they're
probably do
confusing
drugs at
they're
halfway
confusing
house,
crackhead with crack house. That
It just could be just a crackhead.
I'm sure at some point the house becomes a crack house.
With enough crackheads.
With enough crackheads, it becomes a crack house. Yeah.
But you definitely need more than one crackhead to make it a crack house.
Yeah, I
you
think
need
so.
multiples.
I think so too.
A crackhead can't
That was pretty
live
hilarious.
alone in his crack house by himself.
No, he gotta have friends.
He does. Crack friends. I remember I saw this meme that was like, just get hoarders addicted to crack and they'll sell all their shit. Problem solved.
That is fun. Do you watch Hoarders?
I love hoarders.
I love
oh my God.
That could
Hoarders.
be a good
Hoarders.
Airbnb.
Oh
Spoon.
my gosh.
Ooh.
Love
I wonder if any
Hoarders.
hoarder has tried to Airbnb their place out before while being a hoarder.
Gross.
Probably.
I love I might go watch
The
that
worst
tonight.
are the animal hoarders, though. Ooh. Actually, I
I've
live
never
next door to a
seen
hoarder.
that.
Forgot to tell you all about this. Next door, when I lived off Boulevard in Grant Park, I had this old lady named Betty next door. She was fucking 90, but she was an animal hoarder. So she would take in the neighborhood cats, but they would just keep multiplying.
No.
So we had
No.
hundreds and hundreds of cats.
No.
To the point where I would find dead cats in my yard. It was an older house built in the 30s. Cats got into my ventilation system, so I'd hear a cat meowing under the ground and couldn't get her out. I didn't know where the cat was.
That sounds cute until you know it's going to die.
Everywhere. Exactly. Cat shit everywhere, obviously. And she also had multiple dogs that she never let out. So the house reeked of cat pee and poop. And Betty had gone to the hospital. She had pneumonia or something and then came back home. And I guess she got sick again and they told her she had to go back to the hospital. So she just shot herself and was like, fuck
what?
this.
She committed suicide?
And I lived next door and I was home when it happened, but I didn't know what was
Where are
happening.
her kids?
She had no family or anything really.
Okay.
Well, she was also she was a bitch probably in her younger days. That was not her. She told me about shooting different people too. She said she shot her ex-husband one time, and one time she was working at a bar and shot somebody that tried to come behind the bar or something.
Lived a life.
Yeah.
Wow.
But anyways, she was an animal hoarder, and it was so good.
How long
And then
did the
after she
cats-
died, the cats, there were so many cats that stayed around for so long. The neighbors would trap them and take them to animal control and
Somebody said
stuff.
they should have came and took the animals.
Yeah, they tried, but there's so many. There's probably still a bunch of cats there, but not as many. But it was wild. It was crazy.
It's still an abandoned property.
Well, my brother actually, the week I moved out, he bought a house and moved into that same neighborhood. He's now sold it, but I've been there somewhat recently, and it was still kind of abandoned.
The cat queen.
Yeah,
The
Betty.
cat crack house.
Cat
There you
crack
go.
house.
Cat crack house. Definitely.
Perfect. You're good, Ian.
All right.
There's no one better than you.
I have a murder story for you guys.
We're ruling out on first Betty killed herself.
Yeah,
Then we're
we're
going
back
out with
to
a
murder.
bang.
This is depressing. So there's a few murder
As I
stories,
laugh.
actually, but this one, a professional hockey player, Brandon Yip's Charlestown home, scene of a gruesome Airbnb execution. So at approximately...
Charlestown or Charles?
I don't know if it's...
It's not Charleston. This is in Canada.
It's spelled town. It's spelled town. Because I was thinking
Charlestown, Canada?
I don't know, because then the police are like from Boston, but I don't know if there's a Boston in Canada. There might be. Anyways,
Perhaps at the border.
wherever
Stay
this
with the
happened.
border.
So at 3:20 in the morning, the Boston police and EMS responded to a person shot inside of a Six Mystic Place in Charlestown. So they get there, but apparently somebody had called the police hours before that and said there's a crazy party there. The police came out. They didn't see anybody breaking any laws, so they left. A few hours later, they get another call of shots fired and something happening. They go. They find a guy in there shot in the head, like point blank, dead on the scene.
Intense.
So they look around. There's nobody else in the house and there's no gun. So they're like, all right, what the fuck happened? But the crazy part is about 45 minutes later, 4 girls, partially dressed, some shoeless, returned to the scene in a car, shouting that the Airbnb was theirs. They said that they were the ones that had called 911 about the shooting and they just wanted to retrieve their belongings. Seemingly unfazed by the incident they had called in or the corpse that one can only assume they knew was inside. And then I guess, I don't know what happened. They said another answered question is where the 4 females went in between the 911 call and like coming back to get their stuff. Apparently they lost their shoes somewhere along the way. But yeah, another apparently like
story.
isn't that crazy though? But it doesn't say anything about these girls being arrested or anything. Like
This is sketchy.
But like, if they were the ones that did it, how stupid are they to come back
And get their
half-dressed, barefoot? So apparently, like another neighbor, because people came out when they heard gunshots, or like another party goer said that it was a fight between, you know, the guy that was killed and the guy that shot him. It was just like a verbal altercation dealing with drugs of some sort, and the guy just out of nowhere pulled a gun out and shot him point blank in the head.
This is such a trash.
And it was the girls. So these are the guests of the girls who had the Airbnb.
They probably threw a party.
Yeah, these are not the hosts. These are the guests. There was a big party there, and that's why the neighbors had called the police earlier. They came out.
But
They're
the
like, all
girls,
right, keep
They
it
didn't
down.
run it.
The girls came back in a car. All it says, I guess this news article is like soon after it happened, so they're still investigating. But the girls came back 45 minutes after the police found the dead body in a car, and they're like, "That's our Airbnb." And they're like, probably super fucked up because some of them aren't wearing shoes and some are like half clothed. And they said they just wanted to get their stuff out of the Airbnb, and they admitted they're the ones that called 911. But like they're just like
And
worried
ran
about
away
getting their
from the
stuff
scene of
and
the
not worried
crime.
about the murder, like shooting that had just happened. So crazy.
Airbnb's get dangerous by the day.
It is. Sounds like some shit that would happen here.
Sorry.
It's okay. There's actually another Airbnb murder story. But this one took place right here in Atlanta.
Excuse me, I need something to drink.
It's okay, guys. He's vaccinated.
Vaxxed and waxed.
Vaxxed and waxed. I don't know if he's waxed, but definitely vaxxed.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be
if Ian was
surprised.
waxed.
Ian, where's your tattoo?
Oh my gosh, the tattoo.
I forgot about that.
That was supposed to get him into festivals for free. But this one is...
And now festivals are canceled because of COVID.
That festival's coming back in
You're gonna
October,
get in
as
for free.
right, and well, I haven't got it tested yet, but hopefully, yeah, that's my plan. To be
All right.
vaxxed, waxed, and tatted.
So this took place actually where, you know, MLK and Maynard Jackson and a bunch of civil rights activists live.
That's where my
Near
first
the 100
Airbnb
block
was,
of Sunset
Jackson
Avenue.
Street.
Oh, yeah. Near the 100 block of Sunset Avenue. So these people are actually getting out of a ride share. It was a big group of people, I think like 4 or 5 of them, going to their Airbnb, and they were ambushed on the way there and shot. So they confirmed, yeah, 2 people died and 2 people were injured.
What the fuck?
This is some Atlanta shit.
What's the
but-
date? It says the date.
Yeah, this happened in January of this year.
That is so sad.
No, actually, no, this is 2020. January of 2020.
That is so sad.
It's very sad, but the crazy part is this is like a Channel 2 Action News article, And so Tom Jones was investigating, and he found out that Deshaun Clark was one of the victims. Crazy part is Tom Jones, the news anchor, had met Clark previously when Tom Jones was speaking to a group of youngsters after another murder and telling them, like,
No!
Yeah, so crazy. Like, he spoke to a group of young men and was talking to them about, like, learning from their mistakes and living their best life. And the kid that got killed was one of those kids.
No.
Yeah, so sad. They
That's so
interviewed
sad.
his mom, and she said he never got into any trouble and he's a loving child. And his grandmother was saying that, you know, civil rights leaders worked too hard for this to happen in their neighborhood. They all, you know, Maynard
But
Jackson,
this was at
Martin
an
Luther King.
Airbnb.
Yeah, they were getting out of a rideshare going to their Airbnb.
And got ambushed.
I think Airbnb weasels their way out of that one.
Neighbors
Yeah.
said Airbnb needs to do a better job of scrutinizing who they allow to use their service. But I mean, it sounds to me like they were getting out of a car and just got ambushed. Like,
Yeah.
by,
they just happened to be in front of their
Mhm.
Airbnb. But
what
like,
they probably did was scout out that
They knew it
particular
was an
house.
Airbnb and not
knew that,
residence. Yeah.
people were visiting.
but like, how could Airbnb control that really?
Whereas the other one, and was so that one in Atlanta, that's a legal Airbnb. But the other one, was that supposed to be there?
So the article actually said, I guess it was owned by some Canadian hockey player that I've never heard of. But it said that the rules there were that you can't just Airbnb a house, but you can if you live in it. So that was technically his home and he lived there, but he was out of town, like wasn't there when it happened. So he would like rent it out when he was gone, which would be easy for anybody to say if they were just Airbnb-ing a house. Like, no, I live there, but just not there right now. So
I'm a
it technically
traveling hockey
wasn't an
player.
illegal Airbnb.
That's
But
not
even
where-
if it was an illegal Airbnb, like Airbnb can't like enforce every state and city and like local ordinance
I feel like they
themselves.
can, because, like, you know how, like, you try to take your bird scooter, you know, to the place you're not supposed to,
It stops
it
working?
throttles you, it stops working. Like,
Yeah.
it's geo-based. Like, Airbnb,
Yeah, no, they
if
definitely
they want
could,
it,
but
like,
they don't want. But it's
right,
up to
they
them.
don't
They
want
don't
to.
want to. Why
Just-
would they want to?
Exactly. That's why, like, you know, like,
Because then they're like accepting that liability. If they take control of that, then they will be liable. Right now, they're like, we have nothing to do
like
with
right now,
whether
if you're signing up for Airbnb in an
it says
area,
like don't violate.
it says don't violate, even in you're putting an address in an area that they know to be,
Dangerous.
but
well,
they
no,
don't
not dangerous, but
know. Like
they
maybe
do know.
they could know,
yeah, but,
but
they do
don't
know.
like know.
They know that
necessarily.
because they're in there lobbying and trying to fight those laws. So
Yeah.
if any city or like county that blocks Airbnb, that they still allow you to book there. They just have to. You're in the you get the same quick wrap agreement as everyone else says. Hey,
Yeah.
by the way, don't be breaking any laws, but you give them an address in a location which they know should be blocked off. So I think that's where you have some potential liability.
Yeah, I mean, if that's why they don't do it is because they don't want the liability, but that would be your argument as to liability. So I wonder if like Uber or Lyft, did they, you know how like some airports don't allow Uber and Lyft because of the taxis, like did they prevent you from picking up rides at an airport? I think they do.
When I was in
Like
Colombia,
in towns that like don't allow it, I feel like if you try
They
to book it,
can,
it's like
yeah.
it won't let you book it from the airport.
when I was in
you have to go like across the street or something.
for in terms of the ride area, like you can book it, but they direct you to a spot. But when I was in Colombia right before the pandemic, they had just shut down Uber. And like there was a mom I remember walking by and I saw like Uber's office and it was just had a close sign on it, but you could still order Ubers through the app. And when you got in, you know, you get in the back seat. They're like, no, come hop in the front.
Yeah, I've
Because
had airport rides do that before because they're not supposed to be picking up at the airport. So they take their signs off the window and they're like, yeah, get in the front. Like, 'cause I'm not supposed to be Ubering. I think that was in other countries, not here. I don't remember, but maybe some places here too. No, there's some cities in Atlanta that don't allow ride shares to pick up at airports.
Wherever there's a city where they don't allow a driver to be or Airbnb host to be, there will be some hosts and drivers who will do that.
Yeah, they're going to do it anyway.
And if the app will turn it on, then
Yeah, well,
I feel like we learned a lot today.
we did. This is an informative. This started out all about like mortgages and Diddy. but
Hope our listeners learn a
took
lot.
turn, right?
Well, thanks guys for listening. I'm Annsleigh.
I'm Ian.
Maha F baby.
And we'll catch y'all next time.